week, 2 House Republicans introduced a bill to sanction top Chinese health officials until they allow an investigation into whether the coronavirus originated in a Wuhan lab. Joining us now is one of the sponsors of the World Deserves to Know Act, Representative Bob Wittman of Virginia. Congressman, welcome to the National Desk. I want to begin right away by asking you, there's been great debate regarding the origins of COVID, especially as there is still no conclusive evidence one way or the other to where the virus originated, if it was from animals. What prompted you and Representative Stefanik to come together and create this bill?
Well, Scott, there has not been an open, independent, and transparent investigation of what truly happened there at the Wuhan lab. I think the world has to have that investigation. I think it's not just the United States, but other countries want to know exactly what happened. And we want to make sure we're holding people accountable for what happened. I'm a biologist by training. I worked in and oversaw laboratories that dealt with pathogenic organisms. I know how incredibly important it is to make sure that there are strict controls on those labs. I want to make sure we understand what happened there. There's more and more evidence building that this was not a natural transmission from animal to man, that it indeed was something possibly that happened there at the laboratory. We need to know to make sure that the Chinese government is held accountable and to make sure that this never happens again.
Yesterday, we spoke with your colleague, Representative Byron Donalds of Florida, about the act you're putting forward. Take a listen to what he had to say when asked if the U.S. is prepared for the potential fallout as a result of sanctions.
Yeah, we should. Because you got to understand, if the entire world economy, including our economy, is going to be shut down for over a year, don't you think that's worth sanctions? I certainly do.
Congressman Wittman, your thoughts? Are we as a country prepared for a potential fallout from this act?
I think we have to be. It is incredibly important for us to take a strong stand to make sure that China is accountable. The only way we're going to do that is to make sure that we act in this way, act aggressively, and make sure that the things that we are doing are reflective of what has to happen, not just for the United States, but for the world, to assure this doesn't happen again.
How confident are you that sanctioning these Chinese health officials could ultimately lead to the true origin of COVID being revealed?
Well, it's totally in the Chinese government's hand. The Chinese Communist Party needs to make a decision. Are they going to allow an open and transparent independent evaluation? And if they do, they'll avoid sanctions. If they don't, then under this bill, those sanctions would go in place. I want to make sure, too, that we ban any dollars from the United States going to the Chinese National Health Commission, to the places like the Wuhan lab, because I am not confident in any way, shape, or form that those dollars in the past possibly have been used responsibly, or that they would be used responsibly in the future.
Any indication so far that Chinese officials would cooperate?
Listen, I don't think on their own that the Chinese are going to cooperate. Early on, the World Health Organization, unfortunately, didn't hold them to account. The early on investigation of the World Health Organization said, by the way, China, investigate yourself, which is not what's necessary. I don't think that China is going to do it on its own, but I do believe the United States and others can put pressure on them to say, if you don't allow an independent investigation, there will be consequences, and strong consequences against China if they do not allow this open and independent investigation.
Congressman, what are you hearing from your colleagues up on Capitol Hill about whether or not they can support this? Is it a partisan fight, or do you have colleagues on the left who would join you in this effort? And if it goes that far, do you think you can get the support of President Biden?
Listen, I do think there's bipartisan support to make sure that we get to the bottom of what happened with this pandemic. I want to make sure that we are engaging everyone. I would hope that we could get it through with bipartisan support. I would hope that the president would sign it. Remember, President Biden said that he wanted to send a group of American scientists there to investigate what happened there at the Wuhan lab. Now, they've since backed away from that. I would argue this bill is a way for them to make sure we're holding China accountable.
Congressman Rob Wittman, great having you on the show this morning. Thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to talking to you again as this continues to develop.
Scott, thank you.